I am in a brand new short trade on Bitcoin, and in this technical analysis video, I will be discussing how low is Bitcoin going to go. Well, I hope you're on the same wavelength as me right now, and very low indeed. Why do we want low? Because we are in a lovely short trade right now. You too could be in a very similar position if you pay close attention to my last update given to you on Friday afternoon. Later that evening, we come up and we hit the value area high. Those people that listen closely and pay attention to the videos could have secured a very similar short trade from that value area high and still in that very same trade right now. So in this video, we're going to be going over that, give a quick summary, moving on to what we're looking at next. And as always, in a very professional, precise, to the point manner. So I hope that you thoroughly enjoy, learn, and make some wonderful profits with me using the techniques taught. So with that said, let's pick up right where we left off my last video from Friday afternoon. I was discussing how Bitcoin's in a bit of a tight, choppy sideways range. You have to be very, what was the keyword, selective. Say, please be selective with your trades. You might not get any amazing trade setups, but you have to wait for a degree of high probabilities. Otherwise, you will get chopped up. And let me refresh your brain where I gave you that one trade setup, the one and only trade setup that we had locally on Bitcoin. Quick 10-second reminder from the previous video. Off opportunity right off of the value area high, but this is one all we can do really is place the alert and then let's do the same again. Check the reaction. Cool. So we knew the level to be waiting for. It was the value area high. Even gave you the little magic circle that you got to be waiting for in case there was any confusion possible. But that was the level that we'd be waiting for. You even saw we set the alert ready and waiting. What happened next, my friends? Well, this was a Friday afternoon video. It was released. You had to remain patient for 6 to 8 hours, and eventually we come up and we hit that value area high. This is the advantage of being a member in the Champions Discord. I did confirm that very same day on Friday that the value area high was hit and the short trade is taken. But of course, there was nothing else to do during that period apart from waiting for that value area high. The alerts were set. We then just had to remain patient for that level to be hit. What I loved about this setup is, of course, visually, we got a fake out, move above the high, close back down below. So if you are just not looking at any order flow, you had the visual confirmation. Then you start to add on time frames, and I very much enjoyed and liked for Confluence that this move up was on a Friday night. So we had the move up actually coming up into Friday night. And I've already explained this to the champions in a live stream, but I will do it here publicly as well. Basically, the reason why we like this to come up into Friday night is the weekend moves. They're going to be forming a CME gap. Should have we seen a move up during the weekend, would have formed a CME gap. Those weekend moves are generally with a high probability reversed. So thus seeing a rise into Friday evening when the CME is about to shut, that gives us a higher degree probability of the short as well. So we had the value area high, we had the fake out of the weekly high, so our weekly high from Tuesday. We had another degree of probabilities added with that level of confluence. The fact it was the Friday evening, the rejection visually from the value area high. And then when you looked at the volume, so this is when we start to dissect the order flow, we had very low volume on the break here as well. So if we were reversing this and seeing strength, we should have seen lots of volume coming in at those highs with follow through. But we saw low volume rise, fake out of the highs, closes back down below on the Friday evening. Everything came together for what was, at the time a half trade setup, right? We can just set our alerts and wait for the reaction. So then in the time you had lots of confluence lining up in terms of the order flow, the time of the move, and then the visual rejection. So that's everything needed to turn that trade idea to a real setup with, you got to be taking your short trades at that time, right? So from that last video, I gave that one trade setup on Bitcoin. That was the one and only thing that we were looking for locally. Had no interest in the longs. That one and only short trade was the one that we were waiting for. You had to be ready and waiting if you needed some assistance, and you could be in the champions group. But really simply, have the alert set. It comes off. You get their reaction. Take the short trades, right? And yeah, then you simply let this run, staying in the short trade and in a long on gold right now as well. So I took this across Bybit, and I'm also in the Leap trading competition. So this was the short trade that I took for the Leap competition on the entry 99,108. If you paid close attention, that alert the alert was set for 99,400. So the alert went off, saw the reaction, was happy with it, took my entries for the fill average of 99,108. So those are the trades I'm in right now, the Bitcoin short and a more aggressive gold long right now, but yeah, for the Leap competition. And for me right now, well, first of all, we've done how many minutes? 5 minutes of a quick, well, relatively quick summary. So I hope that I always like to start off with these summaries of what's happened since the last video so you can understand, well, the trade, of course, that I taught you through, how that progressed and was executed and ended in, well, it's not ended because it's still ongoing, but the trade that we're in right now, because it's very important to understand the context of where you've just come from for you to understand what the highest probability to come next is. So now you have the full context and maybe even a very similar trade as me with that lovely short. And so now what are we looking at next? Well, there's a lot of weakness on the chart right now for Bitcoin, locally speaking. Okay, when we zoom out, yeah, we're just in a bit of a sideways range. But locally, we've, of course, rejected from the value area high. We took out the, well, now previous week's high with a fake out. And we made our way down to the value area low zone, which has now been lost. So with the loss of the value area low, there are two things that I'd be waiting for next. Well, first of all, what we can do is, of course, bring this along. And you can see even closer now, the value area low very clearly. Front run, back test of the point of control, which, again, I've already showed the champions. So if you want information first, you join the champions group. But the champion members, I've done a live stream today. And we were recognizing this really big bearish divergences that formed. So like, that was kind of crazy. But you formed those massive bearish divergences into the previous day EQ. And, that was the higher the move for this move to the downside. Slight front run of the value area low, which is lost and now back tested. So you can see clear as day. On the lower term time frames, lost, back test, back test, back test, back test, continuation to the downside. So lovely support resistance flip there off that value area low. So now we're waiting for one of two things really. So you will wait for either, preferably, right, continuation to the downside, or option number two would be a flip of that value area low back into support. That would show us our first minor, but nevertheless our first sign of strength here locally. We would maybe look for that market structure change on the 5-minute time frame with the reclaim of the value area low. That is only step one here. We are going to have a lot of resistance then above us, namely, okay, bigger levels of resistance massively around 98,000. I really believe 98,000 is pretty key here. But yeah, our step number one would be to reclaim of the value area low. And then really simply we've been, not absolutely perfectly, but you can see value area low, value area high, fake out, swing failure pattern, making its way back up for the lower high, back tests of the point of value area low zone, value area high. Of course, this is with the updated price action. When you actually bring that back to what it was like, you can see it's much more precise. But of course, you keep on expanding this to the latest price action. So now we'll be waiting for a reclaim of that value area low or continuation to the downside. So what would I say? Sometimes there are times, and this is important nevertheless. I will recognize trade setups. I'll tell you the levels to place the alerts, levels that I'm ready and waiting for. And even when there's nothing amazing, we have those like half trades. Here, we don't even have a quarter of a trade set up. Why? Well, I'm not a fan, to be honest, of going for the limit orders or even a level to place the alert where I'd be interested in the long. For me, there is a lack of interest in longs before new lows. That doesn't mean new lows are definitely coming next. It just means right now, I'm not actually interested in longing any of the dip until we make new lows. So I will wait for one of two things. All right, number one, preferably a new low made. Or alternatively, a reclaim of what? The value area low, because that then shows me a sign of strength locally where we could look for that rally from 95, 500 Would love to see 97,500. So I have a $2,000 bit of space there of potential rise for the next lower high. Or if we get the reclaim, move up to and on to $100,000 plus, right? So I hope you can understand the way that my brain functions. It very is a probabilistic mindset. I know there's no guarantees in trading. If you want the Moon Boy talk, if you want, oh, this is definitely going to happen, just go and look at some other channels, because there's plenty of people out there that apparently know everything, but unfortunately their followers just seem to lose money. So that doesn't really add up, does it? There's the people out there, they seem to win everything, but all their followers lose money. Well, that's probably because really they're not actually doing the profits. But anyway, I digress. Or you can check out here. We don't have that Moon Boy or perma bear mentality. It's definitely going to happen. This is what's going to happen next. I'm telling you now, this is the thing that you need to be looking out for. No, we have the trader's mentality, right? A professional trader's mentality, right? We're not here for the clickbait. We're here to show you exactly how you should be thinking. And what is that? If you are somehow confused, well, you could be genuinely confused because you're new here, and that's fine. I'm here to teach you, right? So that is the understanding of, we do not know what's going to happen next. I have no way of telling you if we are definitely going to dump next or we're definitely going to pump next. I don't know that. I would not claim to know that because I'm not a scammer. I'm here to tell you, we do not need to know what's happening next to make profits. Right, the short that I'm in is going to make more profits if Bitcoin drops, right? That's a given, but that's a trade now I'm already in. I will know that the highest probability for me, again, that's not a certainty, it's not 100%, but the highest probability, seeing as we have a lot of resistance above us and a lack of support with the loss of the value area low, and this is where probabilities would continuously be updating. With the loss of this value area low, there is a high degree of probabilities of further continuation to the downside. Thus, I will not take a long yet, and I will happily stay in my short trade. Those probabilities can adjust should we reclaim the value area low. Say we got a 85% probability of downside. If we reclaim that value area low, well, that's going to be changing to around 65. Because that's a nice reclaim with a potential lower term time frame market structure change. Still got high probability to the downside based off of the bigger resistance we have above us. Again, if that gets reclaimed, well, sky's the limit to above $100,000. Ultimately, just remaining in this very tight range. But I hope you can understand the way that I'm thinking. I'm not thinking about guarantees, what's definitely going to happen. I'm understanding, okay, these are some very good levels of confluence. That's where I'll be aware for my next trade setup. I'll place the alert. When those alerts go off, I check the order flow. Okay, I make an informed decision of to long or to short, or to not take the trade. Right now, I do not see any interesting levels to the downside. Thus, I'm not going to have any alerts placed until it's a new low. I'm interested in 91,000. To the upside, half interest of this around the confluence that we have on the daily, weekly naked point of control. But again, the context here would be if we're hitting these levels, we got the point of control and the anchored VWAP as support. So, that for me is a negative, factor when it comes down to the confluence that we have there. We're really in the middle of this tight range, right? So it doesn't offer the greatest opportunities in terms of a good risk to reward ratio. At least when you're shorting value area highs, you have a very well-defined risk to reward, especially after the fake out, right? Whereas if you're short in the middle here, you've got a relatively, one-to-one risk to reward ratio, which is not my favorite either. So again, context is always key. And that beats confluence, right? I'd always say context is more important than confluence. So, I believe that now, unfortunately, we're not like the last video. We don't have any kind of amazing trade setups right now, or even half trade setups. So it does require a degree of patience. And this is something that I'm really, practicing what I'm preaching. And while Bitcoin is going pretty slow, again, there are still trades to be had. Okay, so it's not like there's nothing. You can definitely have taken a few trades in this range. But while Bitcoin is going slow, it's time to take advantage. Look into trading gold. Gold is offering amazing opportunities. Look into trading NQ. It's offering some very nice opportunities. Okay, look into the altcoin, or if you're into stocks, Coinbase, again, another one with nice opportunities. But, Otherwise, Nvidia, but of course, I know that a lot of you love the altcoins. Altcoins, of course, are a different kettle of fish right now. They're very much strong moves to the downside. But if you're open to shorting, which I think you would be if you follow this channel, because we do like to short, then altcoins, of course, are offering some short trade opportunities. But at the end of the day, the technical analysis that you learn with us can be used across every single market in the world. So there's always an opportunity every single day of the week. You shouldn't or have any kind of period where, oh, there's no trade set up today. Well, there might not be a trade set up today on Bitcoin, but I can tell you there will be a trade set up today on one of the many altcoins, for example, or oil, etc., etc. You get what I mean. So yeah, the same technical analysis used across all markets. And, that's how you bring home your daily bread and butter when it comes to trading these wonderful, wonderful markets. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will say, if you want the updates before everybody else, so if you want to know what we're looking at, the divergences, when I'm entering my trades, the first people that will always going to know this are going to be the champion members. So if that's of interest to you, that's one of the many advantages of being a champion member. Of course, the biggest is that you have access to the live streams every single day, live streams, right? Where you get daily morning trading updates, you get the daily morning update sheets. So every morning you've got a live stream, stocks and crypto, where we'll be letting you get access to our events, in-person events. So if you want to come along and meet the wonderful community that we have, where people really make friendships that last a lifetime. It's got a very family feel. You can get access to the events. Of course, the whole educational library from start to finish with the Elliott waves, everything that you can imagine and need when it comes to trading, we've got you sorted at Chart Champions. Truly feel that this is the one-stop shop for everything trading related. And on top of that, we are trading very well right now. So that's always positive and nice as well, right? So if that's of interest to you, check us out, chartchampions.com. You won't be disappointed. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to wrap it up there, to be honest. I'm just going to say I hope you've enjoyed. I will read every single comment should you feel like leaving one. Otherwise, I would love it for you to leave a like on the video, but I will do that, of course, at your discretion. So from my side, that's everything. Hope you've enjoyed. I've given you my heart and soul, as always, when it comes to these videos, being very honest and transparent with you of my views, my current trades, and what I would like to see next. And get your mind into thinking probabilistically. Cheers, everybody. Thank you. And that's me signing out. Goodbye. Cheers.